Hey guys, it's Luca from Learning MTG, and today was the first time I ever got results back from grading cards. So I sent out about a month or two ago. I sent out 4 cards to get graded by Beckett. The idea was, can I buy a card raw, near mint foil? Can I get it graded, and can I immediately sell it for a profit? And the answer turns out to be no. I don't think it really worked. Um, because I didn't get as high of grades as I expected. So I expected to get like 9s and 9.5s, but I got like 9s and 8.5s. So I guess on average, the grades are about half a point lower than what I expected. The cards were, from what I could tell, pretty great condition, pretty much packed fresh. I may have missed something on the cards, but they looked like really nice, kind of like what you would expect if you opened a card right out of the pack. So what did I send out? I sent out a Goblin King. Um, the reason I did Goblin King was because I noticed that there's only one graded right now in Beckett. Or sorry, in let me go here in the pop report. So it's really interesting thinking about how to price these things. I'm actually probably gonna make a video soon talking about how to price these graded old border foils because you can't really look at the history, right? So for something like this, let's look at 7th edition. Um, 7th edition foil. So you only have like 350 cards that have ever been graded. And let's go to Goblin King. I believe is somewhere down here. Um, it's always hard to find these. So there's only been one graded. Technically, I don't know how often this gets updated because I just graded another one, so there should be one now at 9. So there's at least 2 of these graded. Probably not very many more than 2 graded. Um, and I actually own this one too. I bought this one from someone. So I just talked to someone on Facebook, and I was asking him, like how do you know what to sell these at? Like, how do you price these? And he basically was saying something like, okay, if it's an 8.5, I basically charge, what does it cost raw plus grading? So if it's $1,000 card, I have to pay $50 to grade it. I'll sell it for $1,050 if it's an 8.5. If it's a 9, I might sell it at about 20% markup. So I might sell it at, $1,250. If it's a 9.5, then I may double the price. So I'll sell it at 2,100. So that was kind of his way of going about it. And that makes a lot of sense to me, from from a producer's perspective. It's like these people are kind of like producing these, right? They're going out, they're finding the raw cards, they're grading them, and then they're selling them, and they're trying to turn a profit, a quick profit, right? Because they need to get the cash flow so that they can buy more cards and do this again. Um, but I also like to look at it from another perspective, from more of like a macro, long-term perspective of supply and demand, right? What about the fact that there's only one Goblin King that's been graded? What about the fact that, there may not be very many more 9.5s? There may be no more 9.5s. I wouldn't be so surprised if this is the only 9.5 you'll ever get. So to me, like thinking down the line, 5, 10 years from now, you may no longer price the card purely, based on the raw near mint foil copy plus some markup. You may now think about it in terms of, okay, how many of these exist? If there's only a handful of these, then we're gonna pay a high price for them because there's so few of them. So that's kind of an interesting note. Do you price these based on the near mint foil raw values, or do you price these based on the population report? I think that's still kind of an open question. Uh, but that's basically the reason why I grabbed the Goblin King and graded it, because I figured it was a great opportunity since there's only one other graded one. Also, there's an advantage to kind of cornering the market, since I own the only 9.5 and now I own the only 9. Um, I can mark up the price more. It's kind of like I have a monopoly on foil Goblin King. So it's more valuable to own kind of the whole market. Let's say there were only two Goblin Kings and there's only two, um, I don't know, what's a good one? Let's say there's only two wildfires, right? To me, it's more valuable to own two Goblin Kings or two wildfires than to own one of each Goblin King and wildfire because I can get kind of like undercut if I don't control the whole market. So that was kind of my thinking behind getting a Goblin King graded. The other ones I got graded were Flooded Strand, Wooded Foothills, and Windswept Heath. So to me, the fetches are very iconic. I think they're going to appreciate more than your average foil graded card just because, they take a very special place in Magic's history. I actually remember when they came out and how they changed everything because you can now fetch in what was 1.5, you could now fetch for dual lands, and in extended, you could now, well, later on they made the shock lands and you could fetch for those, but there's just a lot of powerful things you could do with the fetch lands that we kind of take for granted now because we're so used to them, but they didn't always exist. And yeah, people really love to collect these. I've noticed there's a lot of people on the Graded Magic Facebook group that like to get a full set of the fetch lands. So going back to how do you evaluate the price of these foil graded cards, one of the things I think about is, where does demand come from? To me, there's like three ways you can have demand. One is a set collector, someone who wants to get the whole set. Another is someone who just likes that individual card. Maybe they just really like Flooded Strand, or maybe they really like Goblins, so they want Goblin King. And the third is what I would call maybe like a mini set collector or a subset collector. I've noticed there are people who want one of each fetch land, or they want one of each pain land, or maybe they want one of each lord from 7th edition, a Goblin King, an Elvish Champion, what are the other ones? I don't know. But, there are these like mini sets. Usually they come in groups of 5, one for each color, or for each color pair, and you can kind of collect these little mini sets. So I like to, holding all else equal, buy up these cards that could potentially be part of a little mini set and therefore have more demand. So that's why I did the fetches. I'm kind of disappointed. I was really hoping to get 9/5s because if you get a 9/5 fetch, you can sell it for $2,000. Now that I got 9s and 8.5s, I think they're going to be worth a lot closer to $1,000. So half as much. Um, so that was kind of my experiment. I guess one of the biggest takeaways for me was realizing how freaking hard it is to get 9/5s with these things. So it made me appreciate more the 9/5s that I already own, and it's gonna make me want to buy more 9/5s, that are already graded. And yeah, just it to me. I think there's a huge potential in this market. I think in the short term, you're not going to see much change. People are still kind of using the old ways of pricing things, but I think 5-10 years down the line, you may see huge increases in these prices. Right now, we just don't see the set collectors, right? Um, I've talked to some people. I know someone who has a full foil set of Urza's Destiny. I know someone who is working on his full foil set of Urza's Legacy, but that's pretty much it. They may be the only two people in the world that are collecting those sets, the full sets in foil. I don't expect this. I expect this to change in the future. I don't think it'll stay the same. So, 5-10 years from now, will there be 10 people that are collecting the foil sets? Will there be 100 people collecting the foil sets? I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to 100. So, if you've got 100 people collecting a full foil set of any of these, forget about getting the 9/5s. I don't think there's ever going to be 100 Goblin King 9/5s. That just seems ludicrous to me. So, there's a few kind of corollaries from this. One is, people are going to pay a huge price for the 9s and the 9.5s, especially the 9/5s. And there are people now that are like, no, I don't want a 9.5 unless it's quad, or they're like, I don't want, I don't collect nines or whatever. People are kind of spoiled, I think, by Alpha Beta Unlimited Revised. Um, it's pretty easy to get a 9.5 in when it's non foil, but when it's foil, it's way hard to get a 9.5. So I think the standards are gonna lower. Right now, people, if they go for a full set, they want it to all be at least nines or 8.5s. I would not be surprised if in the future, if people wanted to get a full set, a full foil set of, I don't know, Onslaught or something, that they'll be starting at like eights. Like, I want everything that's 8 or higher. I think there's going to be kind of like a lower threshold that people are looking for. I think people are a little bit too attached to the rarities of non-foil cards and have not properly adjusted to foil. So that's kind of my takeaway. It was very cool getting these grades. I have sent out 170 other cards to get graded. Let me actually pull up that list of what I've sent out to get graded. I probably won't see it in a long time. But, or maybe I've already talked about this in other videos, but either way, a lot of Urza's Legacy stuff, Blessed Reversal, Karmic Guide, Knighthood, Martyr's Cause, Mother of Runes, Opal Avenger. What are some of the nice cards that I've sent out? I've sent out a Palinchron, 3 Second Chances. I've sent out a No Mercy, 2 No Mercies. 2 Defense of the Hearts, 1 Multani, a Defense Grid, 3 Quicksilver Amulets, a Memory Jar. So, and then some Urza's Destiny stuff, a Treachery I sent out, so it'll be exciting to see what I get on that. Covetous Dragon, which is a reserve list card, so people value it more. And then some Arcadian Mask stuff. And a little bit of Nemesis, and 1 Torment and 1 Legion. So I sent out these 170 cards to get graded, and I don't know when I'll get them back. Probably around December, I'm guessing, or maybe even later. And it'll be, but based on the results of these 4 cards that I got back, I do expect that, because these were like pack fresh, the ones that I sent out were probably a little bit worse. So I guess on average I'll be getting like 8.5s. I really hope to get some 9.5s, because the 9.5s are really what you're after. Those are kind of like the creme de la creme. But yeah, so just wanted to make a quick video. Pretty exciting to get these grades back, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.